Hey guys, Adam Hebener once again up here at Modern Mortgage, and this is the next video in our continued series about educating our clients on everything mortgage related, because we want you to be the smartest clients out there. When you're the smartest, you get the opportunity to serve yourself well, and then it also just allows you to have a more enjoyable transaction. And we're all about the user experience here. So that's what these videos are doing, and you're gonna get lots more of them, but hopefully this one's very helpful. This I know is a hot topic. It is, what is a credit score and how do I maximize mine in the lending industry? Now, the information I'm going to give you is very specifically related to mortgage lending. There are more things to know about credit than what I'm going to cover in this, but what I'm going to be doing is focusing just on how the mortgage industry thinks about credit so that you can kind of exploit this information for your own benefit. Okay? So here's the scoop. A credit score itself first needs to be defined, because there's lots of different sources out there to get a credit score. There are lots of companies who will provide you with a credit score and they say it's a credit score, and most consumers can't really tell the difference between a consumer credit score that might be produced by some company that nobody cares about and a credit score that is produced by companies that the whole lending industry has agreed are the companies we want to use to determine your risk level. So let's start with that. Number one, when you're talking about the mortgage industry, there is only one gold standard. There is only one standard at all for how mortgages work, and that is the credit score that is produced by FICO. So a FICO score, that stands for Fair Isaac Corporation. Fair Isaac Corporation wrote a great algorithm. That algorithm climbs through the three credit bureaus. The bureaus are Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax. You can think of them as just being big filing cabinets. Each one of those companies holds a big filing cabinet on you. They're largely the same, but a little bit different very often. And the information itself can have some duplication, but it's looked at from three different sources to help us get a full picture of who you are as a borrower. So when you think this through, think about those three different filing cabinets. What FICO has done is come up with a really efficient, really mathematically proven way to tell us how much risk you as a client represent when we go through your file. That's what a FICO score is. It's telling us how much risk you represent. Another way to think about it might be, how likely are you to pay back the loan? We need some kind of a numeric representation of how likely you are to pay back the loan. Now, when it comes to credit, forget all of the numbers, the algorithms, all the math involved. Let me just tell you some of the best way to think about credit. If you think about credit a lot like you think about dating, you're probably going to be way ahead of the curve. Now, I'm a guy, so let's think about it this way. Before I got married, now I'm happily married, not that anybody but my wife cares. Been married for a long time. But before I was married, I had dated a few times. I know that's shocking that anybody would date me, but a few girls were kind enough to do so. When I dated those girls would go back to their friends and say how it went. They would say, oh, is he a nice guy? Good conversation? Did you go somewhere fun? Did you have an enjoyable time? And she would give a report back. She would say yes or no. And I can tell you I'm kind of a dud, so it was probably a lot of no's, right? Well, listen, if you've had bad experiences with credit, it's a lot like having a bad experience with dating. You took somebody out on a date, you didn't take good care of them, they had a bad time with you, they're going to tell all their friends, and that's going to lower your score. So, how do you improve your score if you have not had good experiences in the past? You had bad dates, or you didn't pay people back when they lent you money? Here's what you do. You need good dates. You need lots of other people coming out and saying, no, actually, I went out with Adam too, and we had a great time. He's funny. He read a couple of books since last time, and he's a lot more interesting. We went to a great place. We saw a good band. Those kinds of things will actually begin to improve your credit very, very quickly. And here's how you do that. What you do, if you've had some bumps or bruises on your credit, the very first thing you need to do is go to a new institution, give them some money. Typically a bank, wherever you have your checking account, is the best way to do this. Give them, say, $200 or $1,000 or whatever you can afford to give them, and ask for a secured credit card. If you get a secured credit card, you're guaranteed to get it no matter what your score is, because you've already given them the money to pay back whatever you'll borrow. So it's a completely safe transaction, and you're not going to miss. They're not going to reject you for that. Okay? So that's step number one. Then what you do is you never borrow more than about 30% of the total face amount. So if you asked for $1,000, never borrow more than $300 a month, and you need to pay it back every month. When you do that, what's going to happen very, very quickly is that bank that you open that new account with, they're going to raise their hand and say, hey, I had a great experience with this person over and over and over again, bunch of great dates. Now, if one of the girls goes back to all the other girls and says, hey, I had great dates with this person, all the other girls are going to say, well, we'll at least give it a shot and see what happens, right? So you very quickly need to have people saying good things about you in the credit world in order to get more people interested in lending you money. The biggest key to this, guys, very, very, very important, never borrow more than 30% of the face amount. I know you've heard other numbers, but the fastest way to get there is 30%. Okay, so again, they give you 1,000, use 300. They give you 300, use 100 and no more. Pay it back every month. That's going to increase that FICO score. Okay, now last thing to know about FICO scores is it's a function of time, how long your accounts have been opened. So the better the score is reflective of how long people have been saying good things about you. That's why I like to use this dating analogy, because it helps us understand the way they're thinking, right? So if you've been dating for 10 years and everybody's had a great date with you for the last 10 years, the fact that we're getting good feedback, that's part of the score, but also the fact that you've been getting good feedback for so long, that's another big part of the score. So if you've got old accounts, even if you had bumps on those accounts, even if things went wrong 10 years ago, keep those accounts open. Sometimes we'll find people want to get a clean slate and they will close all of their accounts. As soon as you close those accounts, they're no longer reporting on your behalf. They're no longer saying good things about you. And so that can actually really work against you. It can reduce your score significantly. So we would much rather see you fix bad accounts by having better conversations and trying again than closing those accounts and trying to forget about those relationships. In doing that, all we get left with is the last word, and the last word was you didn't do a good job on your date. So no one's going to date you again. Okay? So when you're thinking this way, think about it about any human relationship. You're trying to get people to say good things about you. They need to have good experiences. And so you're going to spend time making sure you've known people for a long time, known your banks, your creditors a long time, and also making sure that you have paid those folks back. So hopefully that gives you some good information. Much, much more could be said on the topic of credit. I'll leave it there for the moment. And if you have more questions about your specific situation or just things you'd like to see videos on, send us emails, texts, DM us, however you want to get in touch with us, and we'll make sure we get more information out to you as quick as we can. We look forward to working with you guys. Thanks for the privilege.